Phil, good to talk to you a long time. Mike and Chris, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, Phil, tell us a little bit about Jerry Manuel.
Well, I don't know that I know anything you guys don't know. He's quiet, serious, religious by nature. I think he's a very good baseball man. I think he's probably, in what we saw when he was with the White Sox, he was definitely very good with younger players. Some older guys had good years, too. He got a monster year out of Frank Thomas in 2000 after they had some clashes the previous couple of years. I think he's a very solid choice, but from what I know of Willie Randolph, I do think there are a lot of similarities there.
All right. Well, let's ask you that too. You're a baseball national columnist, and we all think the Mets did a terrible job with the way they handled this. You can't dispute that. Are you surprised, though? Do you think Willie got a fair shake? What's your take from afar on whether Willie deserved to be fired here from this Met ball club?
I would have to come down on saying, based on how they played since the championship series in '06, which they should have won, the Cardinals shouldn't have had a chance to steal that World Series. I thought it would be very difficult for Willie Randolph to get things back together after losing the championship series in '06 and then having '07 unravel on him. So I don't really think they had much choice but to fire him. I think they waited too long to do it. I'm not sure that even letting him go into this year was the right thing to do, because I think it was kind of inevitable at that point. At, 06 and '07 back-to-back, I thought was too much for somebody to survive in New York with a high salary team and all those expectations.
All right, number two, Manuel had a very bad finish in Chicago with your team, Phil, with the White Sox. I know he had those comments that got him in trouble. I forget if it was about his team or the fans, whatever it was, in Minnesota that one weekend. What is your take on how his tenure finished up in Chicago? What happened with that situation?
I think he was, I think he was kind of dead man walking the second half of that year, and I thought, again, the front office probably let him go too far before, he did finish out the '03 season, and, I think there were a lot of, he was the manager in 2000 when they won. After that, things never really clicked. I give him credit that his team never laid down on him. If you go back and look at second-half records for those teams, I think the pattern was they would kind of fall out of it early, but he would keep guys playing hard. Guys would play hard for him, and I think especially young players. I think he was very good with, some of their younger pitchers. I think he did a decent job. I think he does a good job working with people, so bringing guys in. I'm not sure handling a pitching staff long-term proved to be a great thing for him. Tons of pitching changes. I don't know exactly what Willie Randolph's pattern was in making pitching changes, but I would guess that's going to increase.
Oh, really? He likes to do that. Okay.
Yep, and, but I think he did, take...
All right, we may have lost Phil there on a cell phone. We'll see if we can get him back.
Under Jerry, they converted him to left field, and he helped him get his feet on the ground and establish himself. He did that with a lot of young players.
Would he give somebody a kick in the rear end, Phil, or not likely?
I would say not likely. Certainly not publicly. He's more of a guy that's going to try to get it with a pat on the back and a talk. He probably needs a gruff, tough assistant type guy to handle that for him, or veterans that will handle it in the clubhouse, which would not appear to be the case with the Mets.
Yeah, they don't.
Plenty of their own issues there.
They don't have that at all. But it's kind of like the guy managing the Cubs. It's along those lines, right?
Pinella going crazy. Phil, how about the media? He seems like he's good with the media. In New York, you have to be. In Chicago, you have to be. He did well yesterday.
He did very well yesterday.
So he's good with the media, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's he's a sincere guy. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah, bright. He came off very bright. Yeah.
That needs to be said. He's very intelligent, and he thinks about stuff beyond the ballpark. But he doesn't, not to the point that when he gets to the ballpark, he's worrying about some fundraiser in Bangladesh or something. I mean, he focuses on his job when it's time to focus on his job. But he's a smart guy, a family man.
He made a couple of political references yesterday that were interesting. So, I mean, he is a little well-rounded, right?
Yeah, there is absolutely no doubt about it. And, the one thing about him that I would say in my experience dealing with him, he's about the most comfortable man in his own skin I've ever been around. I interviewed him in his home in South Florida shortly after he got the White Sox job. He didn't really know me from Adam when I walked in his front door. I spent one day with him, and by the end of that evening, sitting around talking to him, just watching the way he would, like, stretch out on his couch and relax is like, I'm not that relaxed when I'm in my own house by myself. How can this guy be this comfortable, around, doing his first big interview as a major league manager? It really struck me and has stuck with me, and I think it's still true. I think he wanted a chance to manage, another chance to manage, but he didn't go out and politic for it. I think, his beliefs are that, if he's fated to get another chance, if he's supposed to get another chance, he'll get another chance. And I think he was very comfortable, especially after he got the job as the bench coach with the Mets. I think he's been very comfortable in that role, waiting for a chance.